Hello and welcome to another video from earnped.com. I am StevieB, happy to have you all with us today. Today guys, I wanted to talk about two different things, both of which people brought up to me over the past couple of days. Good news to start the show off with, I dropped my iPhone not even 5 minutes ago. I've dropped this thing 1,000 times and it's never had any damage, and I drop it and all of a sudden the screen cracks to a million pieces. So off to a good start, I guess. So there's a couple of things that I want to talk to you guys about today, both of which are pertaining to blueprints, specifically a very specific blueprint, and then blueprints in general and crafting. And one thing I want to mention before we get started, guys, is the RK0 competition. I really appreciate it, guys. You guys saw my two previous videos and have been helping me out tremendously, so I appreciate that. I will be messaging a couple of people in-game that will need to pick up some RK0s from me, and the rest of everybody who has been filling out the forms, there will be some credits to your earned pet account. So I appreciate it. As you know from the first video, all you guys have to do is Google 181 Close Now. Click on the link, go to the blog, go to any of the blog posts, pick a contact form, fill it out with your avatar name, put RK0 in the address, put a fake phone number, your earned pet email, and a fake city, submit it, and you're entered in the contest. I really appreciate everybody who's been doing that. It has been helping me out tremendously. Just keep on doing it, guys, and I'll keep the competition running. As I said in my last video, the important thing is don't go directly to the website. Go to Google and search for 181 Close Now, and then go to the website. That's the most important part of the whole thing on my end. So as long as everybody's doing that, which it seems that you guys are, we can keep this competition going. I've got plenty of RK0s to give away. So into the subject of today's video, let me hit the auctioneer here real quick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to auctioneer, I'm going to hit blueprints, and then I'm going to search for Strongbox. So you'll notice there's only one blueprint available on auction. It is a limited blueprint, so let me pull it up for you guys to see real quick. Alright, so this is the Strongbox Key Blueprint. We talked about this in a previous video when this blueprint was very first discovered. They are limited blueprints, and the idea was that if you looted one of these blueprints, you could use it to make Strongbox keys. Then you could use those keys to open your strong boxes, whether they're seasonal mayhem boxes or strong boxes that are of the classified variety. The idea was that these blueprints would allow people who could not purchase keys from the web shop to create keys in-game. So I had a very good friend of mine who plays call me last night wanting to know how to loot these. Well, theoretically, it should not be that difficult. They are a tool blueprint. They are level 1. So technically, you should be able to craft Life Scanner 1s or Gyrofab 2s or F101 mining finders. And as you are crafting, theoretically, these should drop every now and then. Here's the problem, and here's why I say theoretically. It doesn't seem to work. I have literally, from the moment these things were first discovered, crafted thousands, and I'm not even talking thousands, I'm talking probably close to 100,000 crafting attempts of tools, whether it be F101 mining finders, Gyrofab 2s, Life Scanner 1s. I have just crafted the crap out of tools, and these things do not seem to drop. If you keep an eye on auction, you'll notice there's never even any on auction. The one that does happen to be on auction, it's only got 3 attempts, and they're wanting an outrageous price. They're wanting 430 pet. That's $43. I do not understand why anybody in their right mind would pay that kind of markup for these when you've got to craft them knowing that you're going to have near successes and failures to essentially create an item worth $1. I mean, there's just no reason to pay that kind of markup. There's really not a reason to pay any type of markup on these blueprints. And the bigger problem is they just don't drop. Short of this one being on auction, I've kept an eye on auction over the past couple of weeks, and I have not seen any pop up for sale, which leads me to believe that they were taken out of the loot pool for some reason. Now, my theory, and I cannot prove this, but my theory is that it was discovered, and as you guys know, shortly after this blueprint was discovered, me and several other YouTubers made videos about it. And MindArk figured out that we were putting the information out there, and they got cold feet, and they did not want this leading to legal problems for them, which it probably would not have. So for whatever reason, they decided to pull it out of the game. Now, personally, I think this blueprint was one of the best ideas MindArk has had in years. This blueprint would allow people who cannot buy keys or who have money in-game but not in real life to buy keys to craft keys in-game. This would also solve problems in a lot of countries where they say you can't buy keys. Well, you don't have to. Now you can do it in-game. So this was probably the single best idea MindArk has had in a long time. And I was really excited about it, but I was really sad whenever it seemed that they tend to just pull them completely out of the loot pool altogether. That makes no sense to me. My friend called me last night wanting to know how to loot them, and theoretically, with it being a level 1 blueprint, any level 1 blueprint that is a tool should have the ability to drop it, theoretically. Any blueprint within 3 levels, so a level 1, 2, or 3 tool blueprint should have the capability to drop these, and it just doesn't. I have literally probably done over 100,000 crafting attempts when it comes to tool blueprints in the past month, 2 months, something like that. And I've gotten some of the rarest blueprints in game, as far as limited blueprints and boosted blueprints, and I have not got a single one of these, which is very disappointing, to be honest. So I wanted to get that out there because I know a lot of people know that these blueprints were created and they did start dropping. I think a lot of people don't know that they've quit dropping, and I personally think they've been taken completely out of the loot pool. So if you're sitting there crafting away on some tool blueprints like a Gyrofap 2 or an F101, hoping that you're just going to get a big pile of these, don't bet on it. In fact, I crafted so many tool blueprints trying to get these that's how I ended up with all the RK0s. I probably looted over 400 clicks of RK0 and probably close to 100 clicks of RK25 just trying to find some of these blueprints. They're just not out there. And my theory is if they were still dropping, if they were still in the loot pool, we would see them on auction. And we don't. This is the only one I've seen on auction in weeks. And obviously, nobody is apparently stupid enough to buy it at that price. So that is the first thing I wanted to cover because I know there's a lot of people out there with seasonal strong boxes. I know there's a lot of people out there wanting to open seasonal strong boxes. And I know there's a lot of people that were hoping that this Strongbox Key Blueprint being in game would allow them to do that. It doesn't look like that's happening now. I'm not saying MindArk couldn't reverse it in the future and make it a very common drop. I think that would be a great idea. If I was MindArk, I would be making it a super common drop. I would want people to be looting that blueprint left and right. In fact, I wouldn't even make it a limited blueprint. I'd make it unlimited. And I would literally just make it a TT item. Because I think that's probably the smartest thing they could do. If they really want these boxes open, if they really want to support the economy, don't even make it a limited item. Literally make it an unlimited blueprint that can be skilled up just like any other blueprint and throw it in the technician so we can buy it for a peck and just start making keys left and right. But for whatever reason, MindArk doesn't always take my advice nor listen to me, so probably be a cold day in hell before that happens. So that said, guys, I got another question, also about blueprints, also about crafting. I want to show you guys real quick. Let's go to my blueprints. So if we scroll down here, notice that we've got the Ziplex Z5 Seeker Limited Blueprint Limited. So it's a limited blueprint, good for one click, that creates a limited item. So this particular one, you'll notice, is in orange. That means it is a boosted blueprint versus a regular blueprint. The name, like the portable TT unit, will be in this grayish color. Also a limited item, also a limited blueprint with a limited number of clicks. So what is the difference? So a regular blueprint is going to have a regular success rate, a regular fail rate, all that good stuff. A boosted blueprint is going to have a higher than normal rate of return. Now you're still going to have the possibility of a failure. That's definitely always going to be possible when crafting. But with a boosted blueprint, when you have a near success, theoretically, a near success should give you pretty close to the TT value of the inputs. So if it's a blueprint where the input is 10 ped, then theoretically a near success should give you almost 10 ped, 8 ped, 9 ped, somewhere right in there. A success should give you more than the TT input. So on a boosted blueprint, if it's 10 ped a click, then a success theoretically should give us more than 10 ped. Maybe 12, maybe 15, maybe 20. And if you can hit a really good multiplier on a boosted blueprint, the sky's the limit. Also, boosted blueprints do, it seems, have a little bit higher rate of hitting those multipliers. So that's a good thing also. Now, here's the problem with boosted blueprints. They are rare. And when you do manage to get them, you're not going to get a ton of clicks. That portable TT unit blueprint, I had 91 clicks of that. It's not boosted. A boosted blueprint, you're lucky if you get 1, 2, or 3 clicks whenever it drops. So to really get a decent number of clicks, you have to loot a lot of boosted blueprints. The other problem is you're not going to get the same boosted blueprint over and over and over again. Let me see if I can find it in my storage real quick so I can show you guys, because I had to put a ton of these in storage the other day. Let's see. Maybe it's this one. Okay, so like here's a Ziplex Z5 Seeker Blueprint Limited. It's boosted just like this one. So I can take these two. Notice this one's 1 click and this one's also 1 click. So I had to loot these at different times, and now I can stack them, and now I've got a whopping 2 clicks. And that is the problem with a lot of these boosted blueprints. Is a lot of these boosted blueprints you only get 1 click. So like Vivo T20 Adapted, 1 click. Let's see here. eMine FS, 12 clicks. That's actually really good for a boosted blueprint to have 12 clicks. Vivo T5 Adapted, 1 click. Tal, 9 clicks. That's really good for a boosted blueprint. Let's see, where's another one? Vivo T5 Adapted. This one is an unlimited item with a limited blueprint versus the other one was a limited item with a limited blueprint. Also 1 click. Long Polka Curtain, 11 clicks. Animal Brush Advanced, 1 click. So that tends to be the problem when you're dealing with these limited blueprints. Z10 Seeker, 1 click. Is the biggest problem with them is the fact that you get so few clicks every time you loot one. Now, as you saw, I had some that had 9 clicks, 10 clicks, 11 clicks, 12 clicks. That's not because I looted it and it just magically had that. I probably looted 9 of those, then stacked them together to get 9 clicks. Or I might have looted, 8 of them and put them together and had 12 clicks. So the problem with the boosted blueprints is, even though they do give a higher rate of return for a near success and a great rate of return for an actual success, you just have to loot so ungodly many to have any decent number of clicks. It's absolutely insane. Now, I will tell you guys a little bit of a secret, and I put this out there with a word of caution. Don't get caught up in it. If you really want to try your hand at crafting some boosted blueprints, go to auction, go to blueprints, go down to tailoring, and sort by highest buyout. And what we're going to do is we're going to go with only limited items. We're going to refresh. Okay, so notice that you can make an unlimited item, but when we search for only limited items, it's talking about the blueprint itself. Boosted blueprints are almost always going to be limited. So let's try this one. We can hit view. If we hit view down here at the bottom of auction, it'll actually pull up the item and we can hover over to see if it's boosted. So this one is not. Usually you will find more of them in tailoring than anything else. So like this one is. Now notice there's 119 attempts. That is an absolute insane number of attempts for a boosted blueprint. Also, notice that this has a pretty low markup, 2,000% markup. So for 119 attempts, you'd have to pay 24 ped. Now here's the problem with this. Here's why I'm not buying this one. Let's look at the inputs. 2 MERP textile and 1 wool thread. Wool thread's easy to find. MERP textile, not so much. So you're either going to have to hunt MERPs until your eyes bleed out of your sockets, or you're going to have to pay a good amount of markup and be very, very patient trying to get the MERP textile that you would need to actually click this blueprint. But that's why I like the tailoring blueprints that are boosted, is because sometimes you can pick them up at a pretty good markup compared to other boosted blueprints. So if you really want to try your hand at clicking some boosted blueprints, usually tailoring is going to be the place that you can find the best deals. I've picked up boosted blueprints for a 800% markup, 1,000% markup, 2,500% markup. If we go to something like tools, let's see here. So RK35, is that one boosted? It is not. RK30. Not boosted. The RK25 is a boosted blueprint. We know that this one is. So the Vivo T5 limited, blueprint limited, 3 clicks, you would have to pay 75 ped as the buyout for 3 attempts. So 75 ped buyout for 3 attempts versus with that one we just looked at in tailoring, 24 ped buyout for 120 attempts. Obviously you want more attempts, that'd be great. But this one does have easier to find input. Zinc, simple one conductors, robot low loss link cable, medical compress. Medical compress is kind of expensive. It does have pretty high markup, but you could gather these materials pretty easily, right? Versus the MERP textile, not so much. So the downside to the tailoring blueprints, and one reason they do have a little bit lower markup, is the inputs are usually harder to get, especially some of those textiles, especially some of the wools or the skins. Those are sometimes a lot harder to get than the blueprints that you would need for like tool blueprints that are boosted, which is why they usually have the lower markup, because you've got to pay way more markup to actually be able to click them because of the materials you need. But notice that these do have a much higher markup, 25,000%, 20,000%. So this one's not even boosted. So when it comes to the boosted blueprints, guys, just be careful, because yes, you do get a higher rate of return. Ooh, 71 attempts. Okay. Vivo T10 limited. Okay. Everything that we need to make it is pretty easy, but the buyout is 50,000%. So we would have to spend 355 PED just to get our hands on it. So I can't speak for everybody. I'm sure a lot of the people that do click these are gambling on them. People might be doing them on condition, hoping for a super high multiplier with them. I honestly cannot tell you guys. Everybody has a different reason for doing what they do in game. This one I know for a fact is boosted. So 15 attempts, and not the hardest of things to get your hands on, but again, 27,000% markup. Now, 41 PED buyout for 15 attempts might not be too horrible. A really good success, a really good multiplier could overcome that pretty easily. So it depends on the blueprint, it depends on the markup, and it depends on the inputs too. So it's one of those things, it's kind of a win-lose situation. Yes, you win in the fact that you're getting more successes, more payout per success, but you're losing in what you actually have to be able to pay to get your hands on them in the first place. So like this one right here, actually not bad. 76 attempts, and you'd only have to pay 114 PED to get it. So you know what? I kind of halfway want to do a run on this to show you guys the results. Halfway, but I'm not going to. So if you're going to be doing some crafting, if you really want to try your hand at boosted blueprints, I should say, just be careful. Factor in the markup whenever you guys are factoring in your cost. If you don't know your markup as part of your input cost, then you're not going to have an accurate result whenever you go to add up what you made or what you lost on the other end. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and kind of leave it there for today. The big takeaway I wanted you to know is that apparently the Strongbox Key Blueprints are not currently dropping. Unfortunately, I wish they did. I think it's one of the best things MindArk ever did with the game. And like I said, I think they should be unlimited. I think they should be in the Technician and be, available for everybody, just like Simple One Conductors is. So I want you guys to get that as the big takeaway. I do hope they change that at some point, because it is a great blueprint. This is actually going to be the screen grab for today's video. It is a great blueprint, and I really hope that they do something else with it in the future. As far as boosted blueprints, yes, they do still have a fail rate, so there are going to be some failures. Like I said, the near success should give you pretty close to the TT input theoretically, and a success should give you more than TT input theoretically. The biggest thing is whenever you're getting them, either being able to loot enough of them yourself to actually make it worth doing a run, or if you're purchasing them, being able to purchase them at a low enough markup that you're not destroying all your potential profit paying that markup to get your hands on them in the first place. A lot of them, if you do find a boosted blueprint cheap, it's because the materials are so expensive and so hard to get that it makes it almost impossible to click. I've got some tailoring blueprints that I've been saving for well over a year now that I'm still collecting materials for here and there. I don't really actively do it. It's not something I'm searching out auction for, but if I'm out doing some hunting, I'll just kind of throw my materials in there. A lot of them take like merp wool, some of them take like exosaur leather, neither of which are like super easy to get your hands on. I do have a very, very rare boosted blueprint. It is a weapon blueprint, and it takes some really OG materials to be able to even attempt to click. Most of these materials don't even exist in game anymore. I have been saving it for a while. I almost have everything I need to be able to click it, and I might not click it. I might actually put it up for sale. So when I do, I will make a video about it first because it very possibly is the last blueprint of its kind in game, and it might also be the last of the materials needed to click it in game. Some of these materials are excruciatingly rare. And I might have the last of what's left in game for them, actually. So I'm not sure if I actually want to click it and make a video on it, or if I want to make a video about it, show you guys the materials, then sell it. I haven't decided yet, but we will figure that out as we go. So, guys, from earnped.com, I've been StevieB. Thank you guys for joining us. Like I said, I moved my studio across town, so we will have more content coming for you guys. Now I don't have to drive across town to make a video. I want to thank everybody who continues to use earnped.com, because that's the best way to support us. When you earn, we earn. It's greatly appreciated. Guys, also be sure and take part in the RK0 competition, because every time you fill out an entry form, which please only do it once a day, but every time you do, you will either win an RK0 or you will get your EarnPed account credited. I've actually got to sit down and credit a lot of accounts this afternoon. So remember, all you got to do is go to Google. Do not go directly to the website. Go to Google, search for 181 Close Now. Go to the link to the website, click blog, pick a blog post. There will be a contact form. Put in your in-game avatar name where it says name, RK0 on the address line, fake phone number, your earnped.com email address, and pick a random city, and then hit submit. It will email it directly to me, and you will be entered for a free RK0. Or, like I said, even if you don't win, you will be credited your account. The more often you do it, the more likely you are to get an RK0. From everybody from earnped.com, I've been StevieB. Sip, sip, smack, smack. F the haters, and we'll see you guys really soon. Take care, guys.